Greetings. Welcome to Of Darkness and Light. My name is Echo Augustine. It's a new name, but it's the first one I chose with all of my tools of creativity and rationality and choosing from my own choice. I want to talk about schizophrenia, and I'm going to try again to do it in the most condensed way possible. And I'm going to pitch again, in the best way I can, the humanitarian home for schizophrenics that I imagine as a example to shine forward in a way we can heal people who would otherwise be sent on paths that are most dastardly into people like me who are sharing from their own experiences. As a schizophrenic, your trauma projects into your psyche through openings into your mind. And I'm going to just speak as my understanding, because when I speak in full affirmatives, I speak more clearly. So you can just assume that this isn't in my opinion. But I beg you to feel into your body's intelligence and perhaps open your chest a little. It helps, in my opinion that I'm going to try and stop saying is that my heart is a reflection point for my body's intelligence, right? And I did a lot of Kundalini yoga, and I did a lot of plant medicine, and I was schizophrenic for a long time before I ever knew, because I was doing Kundalini breathing, and I was doing a lot of experimental plant medicine usage. I didn't do anything crazy until I did 2 nights of ayahuasca at a place that got the medicine from a very authentic source who were trained at the plant's place of true origin, who sang songs of tradition and guided me to take most seriously a steadfast diet ahead of time, including the exclusion of any art that is intense, and just a no soy, hardest thing ever. But it's about bringing your body into subtlety so the experiences don't reflect the trauma from your body into your psyche through the experience too much. I believe that is a false thing for anyone in the Western world to think is a fun thing to do, because you walk out the other side and you are schizophrenic. And that's the truth. You need a lifetime of preparation to be doing that without it wrecking you. I was so concerned sitting around people who were doing it that looked like they had lost themselves to the medicine that is for a shaman. And people do it on weekends and then try and go back into the world, and they have things that have happened inside. But I followed that path to open my opening wide. And so I walked forward for years after my schizophrenic opening in ayahuasca ceremony, not knowing at all. Being a part of spiritual groups that were doing more yoga and attempting to open their third eye and see vision and have communal psychic connections through exercises that proved that possible to me. Proved it possible beyond a shadow of a doubt through over 20, perhaps over 30 group sessions of attempting to share emotionally resonant locations psychically through vision and experience and meditation together, and it was working. And it was just like, okay, wow. And I do meditations for years, and I feel genuinely showers on my crown and my heart feeling as if it's connected to people that are on these calls. And I'm teaching people to have connective tissue beyond their bodies with the earth, with the heavens, with their hearts, through breathing and connecting with each other. And I'm doing yogic breathing exercises that are not gentle. And we're opening up our minds, right? But then I begin transition, and it has nothing to do with my estrogen medication. Has everything to do with the societal cancer treatment that trans women get, by and large. It turned my lifetime of already traumatic, emotionally abused, physically abused, trauma in body, molded together with the ongoing trauma of being a parent who's in transition, who is dating and getting wrecked because they don't even know they're sick in the way they are. And it manifests through trauma of the heart because I've been such a lonely person my whole life. And can't even find friends. And I get really abused. I start using Blue Lotus, which leads me to do some really hardcore Kundalini yoga and really bust my head open. And I get highly delusional. And I'm admitting it to people the whole time. I go on some manic episodes that I admit to all my people. Hey, I just had a manic episode lasted a week. I was being highly delusional. Send people messages that are highly delusional. Eventually get to a crisis center after doing that for like a month and a half, a month or so, I don't know. About a whole month. And I'm diagnosed as bipolar when I give them my completely honest summation of what's going on. I really didn't pull punches. I might have softened a few edges, but I told them every kind of symptom I was having. And they looked at me and they knew. They didn't tell me. And every person I saw never told me, never said, I think you're schizophrenic. They listened to me go on and on and on about my feeling. And they knew I had New Age beliefs, but there was no bravery to tell a schizophrenic person that they were schizophrenic or that they needed to face that. And so I walked through like a death drop time of thinking I was just bipolar, doing art therapy to heal whatever was going on in me, realizing it was trauma that was the core of it, not seeing how hilariously present in all of my writing it was from the very beginning. The first book I wrote was a character I openly admitted to myself was me. And I also compartmentalized immediately when I wrote about a chorus of soulful voices in her head. Was like, this is a schizophrenic lady. I was just like, but it's so hard to admit that to yourself when you have no honest help. And when there are schizophrenic people walking around who hear about your symptoms and they're like, yeah, I kind of have that too. I have this understanding of it. But I go through the hardest struggle you could ever imagine. You just have to trust me on that. I've tried to explain it so long. That's a part of my trauma, is explaining my trauma history, which is so complicated. But the unbecoming of a schizophrenic person who's crying out for help, who's fighting for her daughter, who is just doing everything she can to get set up from her guts because she knows she's not going to fit in the world as it exists. without family, who from the very beginning was just like, I need a place to land for like a month and just rest. Like when I got back from the crisis center, I was like crying about how I was gonna have to go back to work. If not from my eyes, inside, I was so terribly sad that there was no solution for me. Like I wanted to go away to an institution for a month when I came back. I was like, I need to go. I would love to just take a little vacation and come back and be better. But that's a problem, because the only way to really get better with schizophrenia is to heal the trauma in your body, or you're going to continue projecting it out into your psyche. And so we get to, I've been kind of tortured, losing my mind, lost my daughter, lost my job, on the brink of complete homelessness. This place is going to be gone to me if I don't get donations and help in the very, very short term. And I have no room to stay in. I've never had a safety net. I've been begging for help the whole time. I've been begging for help from friends, from every social media outlet I can think of, to artists I love, to old family members dug up on Truth Finder, to people who have restraining orders on me now. And I'm just begging for somebody to recognize what's happened in my mind is not a choice, it's a consequence. And it's a consequence of a lifetime lived in honor. And I have a gift now creatively. And that's what I'm saying is, after my struggle, I found myself with a body of work that is really profound, but is unique and kind of doesn't fit. And the biggest offering I have are my video journals and what they have to teach other schizophrenic people. Schizophrenic people can enter a process of art therapy where they are writing or drawing or painting or molding clay. You could do whatever it is that you're doing from your heart and expressing yourself, trying different avenues. And then specifically, I cannot stress this enough because it's what has saved my life enough to be able to communicate like this. And what I very much hope is enough time to save me for at least a couple more months in this home. I'd love to be here. I'd love to be here for a while and recover after all of this. But schizophrenic people need to be set up. They need to be set up on disability that takes care of them in meal deliveries, at the very least. They need time to rest after becoming schizophrenic with an opening like I have. And they need right knowledge for a path to some kind of healing in a way you can live as you are, that is beyond taking antipsychotics, because I took those, and I'm not going to get into it, but it was terrifying because it was an addictive cycle that was ramping up, causing anxiety, making me hungry, making me sleepy. They were pushing more on me, all while not telling me I was schizophrenic. There, I explained it. It was horrifying, and it turned me away from the very people that every community member I reach out to try and turn me back to. And it has become an insanity loop in my head that I will not enter, trying to get help and not getting help. So I'm frozen because of the torture of this loop. And I have addictive cycles that project themselves into my psyche as well, that I know quite clearly I need to be a non-addictive person as a schizophrenic to be completely clean in my embodiment without anxiety and projection. But I literally cannot break those cycles without help. That's just a fact. I need to be out of this situation. They're coping mechanisms. Without them, I wouldn't be making this video right now. And so I need help. I need a key to break me out of this cycle. And that's what every schizophrenic person without family or time to rest or the privilege of money or a situation where they can land on 2 feet or have support I moved through it all without friends. Without friends. Didn't understand what was going on, but I like bought I bought co-op video games. I can't even remember which one it's called. It's the It Takes Two sequel one. And I was like, who wants to come play this game with me? I couldn't get one person to come play with me. I didn't understand what was going on. Nobody told me I was schizophrenic. I was walking around on Shutter Island, literally. And people pushed me into isolation. And once I said the word schizophrenic, it tripled down. And every step of the way was traumatic and was causing executive dysfunction spite responses that I literally wasn't able to get past until I accepted some root non-responsibility of every single person for all of the ways that I've been left to die in my mind. And it's just culture, it's myth, it's the root of everything. And that's why I'm writing myth, is because that's what needs to change for the world to be better in the long run, is because it's just people not understanding their hearts and souls and the way our bodies work. It's like modern psychology and science hasn't have it figured out. We have things figured out from the inside out, but we don't look for solutions to things like schizophrenia or psychosis. We treat the symptoms, and those ones especially. It's like, you go treat those symptoms right now. Those are scary symptoms, and they're scary for the people who are living through them, and we need to support those people. And so I'm telling you, there are so many Kundalini people I met who are like, my whole life fell apart after I broke my Kundalini open, and my wife's leaving me, and it's so hard to be that person's friend because they're so kooky and they talk so much. But we need friends, we need community. We're not unsafe people, and we shouldn't be isolated to have to only communicate with each other, because that's cruel. It's cruel, because there's a lot of people on this path who need a grounding rock, who need somebody to hold on to. I'm somebody that faces the stigmatization of love addiction and psychotic obsession. And while those things are literally true in their definitions, they are clinically unfair, and they are systematic of a culture that doesn't respond correctly. It responds to further isolate people that are too sad. People who are getting psychotically obsessed, definitionally, I'm unstigmatizing that because it's not psychotic. It doesn't have to do with the rest of psychosis. It's obsession. People who are obsessed with people of the heart, loving obsession. Let's call it loving obsession, because that's what it is. Those are traumatized people who need communal emergency reaction. They need hugs. They need help. They need friends. In the past, people would have seen that in communities, and they would have been like, no way, you come over to my house tonight. And that's what works when you send crisis teams and you send people to systems that are inhumane. It creates major trauma. And I have faced the worst of it because there are so many layers to the stigma placed upon me as a person. I'm just a very unique creature where if I don't offend you because I'm a trans woman, I'm not applied to who you feel deserves care in your guts. And that's okay. We're forgiving people for that. That's why I couldn't stop screaming at people. It's because I knew in my guts that somebody of a different class would have found help they needed so much easier. And it was like up and down and all over. It's just like I'm right in the middle. Nobody can help me. And people, I'm like too young for adult protective services. The job I had I was making too much. And it's like, so my unemployment payment's not low enough, medium, even though I can't like manage my money at all to like apply for housing support in the short term. It's just like such a confusing place. And I'm not the person who should be managing it, because as I've been unmasking and healing what's going on within me, it has taken me to face what's going on, which has opened my mind more, which makes it so it's even harder for me to think in non-creative ways, which makes that trauma loop of looking for help and not getting it make me want to throw up and get full of anxiety and like have anxiety attacks. I need somebody to really help me. And that's what schizophrenic people need. So I'm going to pull myself back together. I'm going to get back to doing this yoga. It's kind of creepy to people. People are like, ooh, they're serpent riding, they're a devil. That's what my family probably thinks when they see me doing this. But it helps me. You'll watch me right here get more steady with my communication and my language. This isn't something people understand. They don't understand they should be doing this much more often if they're schizophrenic, because it's going to help them get into some state where they're beyond the anxiety of what's going on when they're traumatized, right? And so I'm still living through trauma, and this is why it's really hard. That's why this video is longer than the others, because I can't talk about this one without weaving, because it hurts. It hurts. I've screamed at the camera, I've cried, I've done the most pathetic things. If you've seen this, I hold no grudge against you. How could you understand? It was so absurd, but from the inside out, I could not see that. From the inside out, I understood this. And so I need somebody to hear me now, even beyond barriers, right? I need help very soon. And so I'm going to come back once again to that home. Say you've got a place called Daphne's home tree. And it's really pretty because that's the person I was. But say it lets people who have used plant medicines and opened come and relax and ground. People who have been abused beyond some level of connection to capability to find community in our modern world that will hold them, that have the propensity and the willingness to go on this healing path. And they make art, and there's a garden, and there might be an animal sanctuary, it might be out in the woods. And there's so many tools, and it's so key for it not to be regimented for the schizophrenic mind. It's so key for you to not be like, hey, you need to not use any digital devices while you're here. No, screw that. We got a TV in your room, bring your console. Bring whatever you want. We're not going to make you sit in group if you don't want it. We're not going to make you do anything you don't want, but you come here with the intention of making art and committing with counselors to doing video journaling and using their guidance and reflection to learn your body's tics, to figure out when it is you're lying as you learn to speak from beyond your worried mind, from your subconscious, by doing that with channeled art from your subconscious. And you hear what your trauma has to say. And we help you become some kind of effective human being in the world with a place to live, even if you don't have family to take care of you. where you can have friends, where you can have a job, where if you are not privileged enough to have already had money, you don't go homeless just because we don't understand what's going on with schizophrenics. And we use the people who are willing to be a part of our social media platform to teach people who aren't there from the inside out, like I already have been trying to do. And we do it gently and with oversight, so people don't make the mistakes I have of harassing people and making things worse with like restraining orders coming down upon them. Definitional harassment is not legally possible by someone in a vulnerable position like I have been. But it's still not something that we should have schizophrenic people fighting through ever without the help they need, because it's traumatizing to them too. And more so in the end, because nobody forgives them. And they forgive other people and reach back out and are like, hey, I'm sorry, can you help me now? I'm better. No, you said the meanest thing. You're a different person now. Doesn't matter that the world did this to you. You don't fit with my stress. And this is what I'm saying. Everything that I know from my trauma is something to be shared with people that are not schizophrenic. Schizophrenics simply see what is going on inside of us more. And this is why I believe this humanitarian organization can change the world. We can create living artists who are body intelligent human beings that live with the truth of what they've been through and heal it in a profound way that allows for teaching that forward to everyone about how we can better live as a human collective. Because that's what I have done with my trauma from the inside out, is figured out so many ways that everything could be better. And we can do that for everybody. And we can teach about plant medicines, and we can have an outreach program of peer mediation. This is important. Schizophrenic people need to be educated about specifically in a way that teaches people they cannot be sensitive to a schizophrenic person and be moral about their own feelings and worries. We have to be brave for schizophrenic people. We have to listen to them. And we have to give them hugs when they reach out specifically. It's been horrifying. I reached out to so many people who I didn't even really have that hardcore of falling outs with. It was just like, hey, I'd love to see you again. I'd love to just get a hug one day down the road, because it's really important for me to just heal with people, and I'm sorry for what I said. Nobody. It's genocide energy of the highest order, and it comes from eras of misunderstanding about this disease of mind. And I would really like somebody's help to not be homeless now, because this is an offering that will truly change the world. I've got like one day to get $1,600 for rent. Please help me. It's an investment for the future of humanity, and that is not a platitude. I hope I've helped you see that. Think about the schizophrenic people you've met and know, please. Think about their hearts. Thank you.